Welcome back. I did promise a video showing all the monsters, the minis, in closer detail, and I will do that on this video. This is the monster box that you get. You can see all the monsters that are there. I'll take the lid off. I'll zoom in a little bit closer and we'll get started with this straight away. So the first monster we're going to look at is Arrakis. There's Arrakis there. Level 1 monster. It has 10 health or 10 cards if you want. Before the player creates their life pool, they discard 1 card from their hand. And if you defeat this monster before creating your life pool, if you have 0 or 1 cards in your hand, then you get to draw 2 cards. So that's Arrakis. Let's have a look at the mini. So there we have the mini there. You can see that sort of flower thing coming out the front there. You can see it in detail. It is a beautiful model. I can't wait to see this one painted up. That'd be absolutely gorgeous. A fantastic model there. Let's move on to model 2. The second level 1 monster we're going to look at is the Drowner's Nest, 10 health pool. After the player creates their life pool, they discard any 1 card from their deck after they shuffle their deck. And if you defeat this monster, then before creating your life pool, you get to raise your shield level by 2. Let's look at the mini, the model. This model is number 13. You can see there a bit of a mohawk look going on there for the Drowner's Nest. And again, quite a nice looking model. Just put my hand behind it so you can the video can actually zoom in on it a bit better. So that is the Drowner's Nest. Again, great model, one to look forward to being painted up. Our third model is the Foglet, level 1 model, 10 health pool. During the monster's first fight turn, pick the attack type that makes the player discard more cards from their deck or hand. There we can see nice artwork of the Foglet. And if you win this one, then once per turn, if you discard 1 or more cards from your deck as a result of your opponent's attack, draw 1 card after your opponent's fight turn. Looking at the model in more detail, again, good level of detail on this monster. You can see the rib showing against the rib cage there, that sunken rib cage with a bit of a mouth coming out of that by the looks of that. So that's the Foglet. You can see that in the picture there. You can see a light, in fact, emanating from the rib cage, not a mouth. So that's a broken rib cage. You can see there, not teeth as I first thought. That is model number 9. I believe that's 9, not a 6. We'll find out. So that is the Foglet. Model number 4 is the Barghest or Barghest. I'm not too sure how you say that. We'll look at the picture there. Before the player creates their life pool, they reduce their shield level by 1. And if you get this one, then once per fight, during your fight turn, you may discard 2 of your unused potions to deal 1 damage and draw 1 card from your deck. Looking at the Barghest, you can see there, the model there. It is, again, a nice model. Again, you can see the rib cage coming out there. It's on a bit of a rock platform, so you can paint that up to enhance the look of that model of the Barghest. No real tail to speak of. That's fine. No, we don't mind that. It is a good mini to paint up. Moving on. So the Barghest was monster number 8 on its base. Looking at the next one, we have Nekka's Nest. During the entire fight, in the last step of player's fight turn, if there is no dodge, that is a green card in the combo, the player draws 1 card less. If you defeat the Nekka's Nest, then before creating the life pool, if you have no potions, draw 2 potions. So let's have a look at the artwork on that. I like the way they've done the artwork on this, showing the background quite blurred as though it's a photo that's been taken. And this is the Nekka's Nest. The Nekka's Nest, again, depending on which way up you have it, could be a 9, could be a 6. I think it could be number 6 though. So this is the Nekka's Nest. You can see that big sort of chin that's going on there with the model. So looking at that, plenty to paint up there, a bit of a cloth draped around the waist, again on a good sort of set of rocks with a few skulls you can see there and bones in amongst that. So that's the Nekka's Nest model you get to paint up. It has 11 health as well, so we're into the 11 health pool, or 11 life of the level 1 monsters at the moment. Moving on to the next one, we have the Rot Fiend, again level 1 monster with 11 health. Let's look at the picture there. I won't lie, it is very challenging to try and find the appropriate model. Sometimes they do get to look all the same after a while. Rot Fiend. If the monster is defeated, the player draws only 1 card during phase 3. This cannot be modified by other effects. And if you defeat the Rot Fiend, then once per fight, during the fight turn, roll a die. If the result is 4 or higher, deal 1 damage. So again, like I said, I've done the best to try and get the appropriate model of the Rot Fiend. I think this is the one here. It's model number 14. If you do know it's not the right one, then please write that in the comments below. But there we can see it walking over some debris. Plenty to highlight and detail there as well in the game The Witcher. This is, of course, let's go on to the next one. The next one we have is the Archospore. You can see there about to trap an unsuspecting bird. Again, I'm looking at the number of models and the number of cards I've got for all of the monsters here. I'm not actually too sure that all the monsters will be represented, but we do have a fair few of them. I think roughly, was it 20, 30-ish? I'll have a count before the next monster I show you. But with this one, the player must discard any one of their unused potions with no effect to initiate a fight with this monster. That's during the fight. And if you win the fight, then you gain the card. And once per fight, during your fight turn, if you have 0 cards in your deck, raise your shield level by 1. So this is the Archospore. You can see there, this is definitely the model of the Archospore there. Its number is 12 on the bottom. And again, a beautiful, different type of model, sort of plant-based that you can paint up. You can see there looking at that. So that is a nice, different model to paint up. I am jealous and envious, and I think I do want to get myself this game just so I can get all of these models. And it is a great game to boot. This one has 12 health in its health pool. Let's look at the next monster. Next up, we have the Echimera. You can see there the beast there that's capturing a horse. The Echimera, after the player creates their life pool, if they don't have the trail token for Echimera, they discard any 1 card from their hand. So definitely need to get into that fight first. Has 12 health on that one. And if you manage to defeat the Echimera, before creating the life pool, you get to draw 1 potion. Let's have a look at the model. I found that in the box. It is model number 15. Let's get that into focus there for you so you can see that. There's the Echimera lunging. You can see the dead horse on its base, so that confirms that we do have the right model in this instance. A really nice model to paint up. The Ghoul's Nest is next. You can see the Ghoul's Nest, and the model that I found, which I believe best shows the Ghoul's Nest, that is model number 11. So there's the Ghoul's Nest. You can use the pictures as a guide if you want. When you fight against it during the player's first fight turn only, the monster may only discard up to 2 cards, regardless of how much damage is dealt by the player to it. And if you defeat it, if you end your turn on a water location, draw 1 potion. That is the Ghoul's Nest. Let's have a look at the model here again. You can see that the base has plenty of detail to paint up, make it look excellent, really good. Give it some table presence as well. You see the long claws. That is an excellent beast. So that is the Ghoul's Nest. Moving on, we have the Harpy. So you see the Harpy there flying around over a ship. The Harpy, during the player's first fight turn only, their combat level is lowered to 0. They may still play other effects to draw cards this turn though. And if you defeat her once per fight, Before you create your life pool, you may discard one card to deal 2 damage. That is the harpy, and we can see there the harpy. Let's have a close look at that. And look at the wings. We've got plenty of detail on the wings to paint up there. On the face as well. I'm not sure where the face is going to come into a nice sort of view, so you can actually focus on that. Let's see if I can do that maybe a little bit more so you can see the face that is there. So that's the harpy. Again, and a really lovely picture, a lovely miniature, sorry, that you can paint up as well. Let's look at the next one. Harpy, a level 1 monster still with 12 health. The harpy was model number 10. We'll move on to the grave hag now. Look at the grave hag there. When you fight this monster, if the player takes any damage during the monster's first fight turn, first they discard cards from their hand. Any exceeding damage is taken following the standard rules. We are at a level 2 monster now. It has 13 health, so level 2 monster. If you defeat this one, each time you draw a potion, view 3 potions from the top of the deck and choose one. Put the rest at the bottom of the deck. So that's the grave hag. We can see there the grave hag there. This is model 22. As I said, the previous one, the harpy, was model 10. That's the grave hag. So again, plenty of opportunity to make that model quite unique in terms of its look on the board game. This next monster, sorry, what do we have then? The grave hag was model 22. This next monster is a fiend. This is model 17. It's quite a big model actually. You can see there, and you can see there the model. It is a bigger model in the hand. You can see that. When you fight against the fiend, it has 13 health as a level 2 monster. Any offensive sign or purple cards have no effect in the fight. The player may use them to extend the combos though, so the actual card itself has no effect. If you beat this monster, then during the entire fight, in the last step of your fight turn, if there is a defensive sign, a yellow card in the combo, draw 2 additional cards. That's quite a nice plus for you there. So let's have a look at the Fiend, model 17, as I said. A larger monster that will definitely have table presence once that is painted up. You can see that with its antlers coming up there as well. You can see a bit of the underside on a smaller base, but it has a bit of weight to it as well, but that'll stand nicely on the table. Moving on, we have model number 25 from the box. We have the Penitent. Let's have a look at the card there with the lantern, sword in a hand, about to put to the grave an unsuspecting victim. A Penitent. If the player do not have the trail token, does not have the trail token for Penitent, they cannot deal any damage during their first fight turn. So definitely worth getting that trail token. If you end your turn on a water location, draw 1 additional card during phase 3. If you defeat that, that'll go into your trophy pile. Here we have the Penitent. We can see there the Penitent has the lantern in hand. Quite a long flowing robe, and you can highlight that in many different ways. And I'm not too sure what that's on its back, some sort of tomb or coffin maybe of a small child, I'm not too sure, but that is the Penitent. So again, a lovely looking model there to paint up. That has 14 health and is a level 2 monster. Next, so the Penitent was number 25. We have the Manticore next. That is number 33. So let's have a look at the card for the Manticore. Let's look at the artwork. You can see there very see-through wings with the light shining behind the Manticore that's there over a victim, a prey. So the Manticore, when you fight against it, each time the monster deals any damage, it is lowered by 1, and the player discards 1 random card from their hand. So it looks like quite a tough nut to crack. Anytime the monster deals any damage, it is lowered by 1. Okay, so it actually suffers some damage as well, if I'm reading that right. If you defeat it once per fight, lose 2 gold to take any 1 card from your discard pile and add it to your hand. That is the Manticore level 2 monster with 14 health. Here is the model. You can see there we do have the correct model. This is model number 33. Going over again, a porcelain horse. So look at that detail on the wings, both sides and on the back, going through to the tail, and even detail on the horse that it's now got as its victim. Well, that's the Manticore. Our next monster is the Night Wraith, a level 2 monster with 14 health. When attacking that, during the player's first fight turn, they play the first card in a combo randomly, then they may extend this combo. And if you defeat the Night Wraith, you get this trophy, and during your fights, then once per fight, during your first fight turn, roll a die depending on the result. Perform the following effect: 1, no effect; 2 to 3, draw 1 card; 4 to 5, draw 2 cards; and a 6, draw 3 cards. So this, I believe, is the Night Wraith. Its number is 16. We can't see the front of it. I think if we put it side on, then we've got something very similar. So I believe I've got the correct model there. See the Night Wraith. Look at the top there. Nice detail going through to the rib cage, down to the flowing dress, and on the back there as well. So that's the Night Wraith. Now I'm actually going to backpedal a little bit because I have looked at these 2 cards. Lucky they came out back to back, and I've got the Night Wraith and the Noon Wraith. I have a feeling actually what I showed you just then was the Noon Wraith. So let's put that into focus. So we've got the Noon Wraith there, and I just say that because I was looking for the Noon Wraith and I found another model. So you can see how the tongue's coming out the bottom there, and it might look like it's got that little crown on top of the Noon Wraith. So I think that was a Noon Wraith we just looked at. I'll read the Noon Wraith anyway. During each player's fight turn, their shield level can only be raised by 1 in total. They ignore additional shield raises. It's a level 2 monster with 14 health. If you defeat it, then once per fight during your fight turn, you may discard 1 unused potion to draw 2 cards from your deck. So I think that model before was the Noon Wraith. So what I'm going to do is I'll leave that one there now. I'm going to show you what I believe is actually the Night Wraith, which was this one here, quite possibly. Let's get that into focus. There we go. So I think that one might actually be the Night Wraith. Let's do this instead. There we go. So the Night Wraith, I think, has a lantern. While we've got a moon silhouette there, I can't see a lantern on that. And this is, I said earlier on in this video, it can get a little bit difficult to pick the subtle differences, especially looking at the artwork and the models. As you can see, she's not showing the front of her face there, but her arm is down. So possibly this is, as I said, the Night Wraith. There we go. Stop all that blurriness. People don't want to see blurriness. I want to see the models. So we'll use that one as the Night Wraith and that one there now as the Noon Wraith. There's the Noon Wraith. Okay, so that's those 2. They're both level 2 monsters with 14 health. And just to confirm, the Noon Wraith, number 16. The Night Wraith, model number 21. Going through these cards, this one a little bit more easier to pick. This is the Werewolf. It is model 18. Would have liked them to have the little number maybe down here to help us find the model, but that's okay. We'll go through this so we can see there the picture of the Werewolf. So when you fight against the Werewolf, it's a level 2 monster with 14 health. Before the player creates their life pool, they lower their shield level by 2. And if you defeat it, then you get this trophy in your trophy pool. And on your next, what's it say? If you end your turn on a mountain location, draw one additional card during phase 3. So that's quite a nice little one. They're a bit different to the other trophies and the bonuses you get. This one actually is not to do with the fighting at all. But let's look at the mini, as I said, model 18. This one is a bigger mini, just like one we saw earlier. There's a nice model to paint up. Get your creative juices flowing, thinking about how you'd paint that one up. Now this next one is an interesting one. You can see there. Looking at the eyes, actually it's coming out, you can see the linen finish on these cards, which I absolutely adore. I love the linen finish on cards. The Weavess, level 2 monster, 14 health. When fighting against the Weavess, before the player creates their life pool, their defense level is lowered by 1. Lower their shield level if it is above their maximum as well. And if you defeat the Weavess, then before creating the life pool, you may replace one card on your hand with any one card from your deck, excluding the discard pile. So this is the Weavess here, is model number 24. You can see one eye is exposed, the other underneath a bit of cloth. There's the Weavess. Very interesting, isn't it? A couple of feet going on in there, as well as the main leg there, and one behind. So something interesting is going on there. You can paint that up. Bit of a travel sack on her back as well. So that's the Weavess. Let's now look at the Water Hag. Hopefully I haven't pulled this one out as another one already. You can see there the Water Hag's carrying around someone's head. She's got spines on the back, which made it a bit easier to locate. You can see the spines on the back there, so I'm fairly confident that is the Water Hag. When you fight this level 2 monster with 15 health, during the entire fight, the player can use only up to 1 potion. And if you have this as a trophy, then you get to gain 1 gold at the end of your each turn. Interesting English, each of your turns. Each of your turns, not every player's turn, but just your turn, I suspect. So that's the Water Hag. Let's look at the model. Look at that, a lot of detail on the face there, which you can accentuate and bring out as well. I have a feeling I did show that as one before. I can't remember which one. Mind you, they do all start to blur into one as you go through them, but nevertheless, I'll claim that as the Water Hag for now. See if I've missed any. We're up to the Wyvern now. Let's look at the artwork on the Wyvern card. It's a level 2 monster with 15 health. At the end of the monster's first fight turn, the player discards 1 random card from their hand. And once defeated, and it goes into your trophy pool, once per fight, you can discard 1 card from your hand to take any 1 card from your discard pile and add it to your hand. The Wyvern model number 19. It's similar, but in a slightly different pose to what you see on the picture. So again, just hoping that I've got the right one for you guys. Dragon-like Wyvern. Next up, we have another level 2 monster with 15 health, the Griffin. You can see there swooping down onto a horse. Fighting against this, during the entire fight, in the last step of the player's fight turn, they draw 1 card less to a minimum of 1. And if you defeat this one once per fight, during your first fight turn, roll a die. Depending on the result, perform the following effect. 1 to 2, no effect. 3 to 5, deal 2 damage. And a 6, deal 3 damage. This is a big mini. Definitely worth getting to paint this one up. It's got a nice weight to it. Even though it's plastic, still has a very nice weight to it. So the Griffin was model number 20. We're now looking at the Wispess, which is model 23. You can see there. When fighting against this level 2 monster, during the entire fight, each time the player's combo includes defensive sign yellow cards, they lower their shield level by 2. Defeating it, you get this benefit that once per turn, when using a card in phase 1, perform 2 movements, ignoring the first location, action, and its terrain type. Well, that's quite nice. That's very handy. Here is the Wispess, as you can see there. That was the Wispess, model number 23. We're now looking at model 31, which is the Brewess. You can see there, we're not too sure about the look of the head there, and I know I've got the right one there. But the Brewess is a level 3. It's the first of our level 3 monsters with 17 health. During the entire fight, each time the player's combo includes dodge, a green card, or defensive sign, yellow cards, the player deals 1 less damage. Defeating her, then once per fight during your fight turn, if you have 0 cards left in your deck, raise your shield level by 3. Let's have a look at the mini. This is number 31, as I said. A good variety of minis in The Witcher to paint up. That's what I really like about it. When I looked at it and saw this big box of minis, they are all so different and allowed you to really paint them up differently. Next up we have Bruxa. Look at that. We have Bruxa here. I hope this is again the right mini. Number 28, coming off of some sort of post. I believe that's the right one. I really hope it is. The long claws. Bruxa, level 3 monster, 17 health. As I said, number 28 in the box. When fighting against Bruxa, during each monster's fight turn that the monster has only 1 or 2 cards in their deck, its attack deals 2 additional damage. And getting this as a trophy, once per fight, you may discard 1 card from your hand to draw 5 cards from your deck. So let's have a look at Bruxa again. Again, good different details in this, as I just said in the previous monster, allowing you to paint that up appropriately. And that is Bruxa. Now we have Gusty Warp, model 32. A level 3 monster with 18 health. During the player's first fight turn only, they can deal a maximum of 1 damage. And defeating this, you get the ability that before your first fight turn, you get to draw 1 card and deal 1 damage. So that is Gusty Warp. In this model, Gusty Warp is wound around a log, sort of that millipede, centipede look and feel and vibe to it all. Great model. This is a larger model. It has got that little bit more weight to it as well. As I've done previously, I'm going to show you the 2 cards which are very similar, and I have accidentally pulled it out again, the wrong one for the wrong one. So I think Gusty Warp is actually this model here on the right. So again, look at it now with Gusty Warp there. You probably picked that up, but here we have Gusty Warp now, proper Gusty Warp, which is model number 30. You can see there against the card. So it looks a lot closer to the Gusty Warp. And then the model I showed you before was actually Ygeren. I don't know how to say that. Level 3 monster, 18 health. During the entire fight, each time the player's combo includes a fast attack or a blue card, the player deals 1 damage less. They do get harder as they go up in level. And if you defeat it, then once per fight, draw any one card from your discard pile. So we've seen Ugarin already. And again, just put that side by side with Gusty Warp. Two great models, slightly on the larger side. Here we have the second to last model, the Striga, a level 3 monster, 18 health. Before the player creates their life pool, they lower their shield level by 1 for each card in their hand. And as a bonus for defeating it, during the entire fight, each strong attack or red card that you use in a combo deals 1 additional damage. So very worthwhile defeating that Striga. Confident I've got the right model this time. Looks very similar. And they do all look similar, but there are a lot of models in the box. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it anyway. So there we have the Striga. Again, a slightly bigger model, not too much larger than the others, but not on the bigger side that we've seen in the last few models. So the Striga was model 27. This is model number 29. And this is Leshan. That's one you can paint up really well. Leshan, level 3 monster, the maximum health 19. Temporarily, during this fight only, the player's defense level is lowered by 1. Lower their shield level if it is above their maximum. And by defeating it, once per fight, after the monster attack card is revealed, you may choose the attack type for the Leshan. Let's have a look at this Leshan, as I said, number 29. And really hope I've got the right one this time. I'll have another look through the box just to see if I can find something similar. Hey, if I've shown you this one before, then I'll show you what I believe the Leshan is. But it doesn't hurt to look at some of these models twice, even if that is the case. It's a bit hard to say whether I've got the right set of horns coming out of the head for this one. I hope I have. So it's a little bit hard to say. It doesn't have the skulls around the belt, so I might have the wrong one. Let me have a quick look. I'll pause the video. And I'm going to say no, that I think I have the right one. So we'll call that one the Leshan. And that completes our video looking at all of the creatures, creature minis, the monster minis that you get in The Witcher Old World Deluxe Edition. So thank you for persevering with this video with me so you can get to see all the models that are in the box. Please go out and buy it. If you liked it, please subscribe to the channel as well. That shows your gratitude for me, and give this video a thumbs up. Share it with your friends who might be interested in painting and minis also. As always, enjoy your gaming. My name is LeMonde, signing off. Thank you for joining me.